I'd like to welcome today's guest, Point of Rental's Inbound Sales Development Representative, aka SDR, Katie McFarland. Katie, welcome to the Front Porch.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Good.
Welcome to the Front Porch with Brian Beaudry.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Who are you and where are you from?
So right now, at this moment, I am a inbound rep for Point of Rental, but I'm also a wife and a mother.
Okay.
And I'm from here. So I grew up in Arlington and Mansfield and have never left the Metroplex. So I'm a local.
Okay, that's super from here. Wait, when you say never left the Metroplex, is that never lived anywhere else or have never literally traveled outside of the Metroplex?
Okay, so yes, I have traveled abroad, but I have lived here my whole life with the exception of going to college. I lived in College Station when I went to A&M. So.
Oh, another Aggie. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe that's why you and Scott are talking. And
yeah, we have a bond.
Okay.
It's a cult. That's what everyone says. So
I have heard that. I'm not from Texas originally, so it's like I don't necessarily have the full depth of the history and vibe and everything. But even I know, yeah, A&M is known as culty.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay, normally I have a third question, but I forgot to write it for you. What is your favorite sandwich?
Ooh, my favorite sandwich. I like to get the turkey and provolone sandwich from Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
Yeah, anything with turkey.
Okay, interesting. You're the first person to say turkey-based sandwiches.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, granted, I don't ask everyone, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into your job history. Obviously, the first job before you have your first job, everyone's asking you as a kid,
yeah.
Hey, what are you going to be when you grow up? What was the first thing you remember saying having as an answer for that?
It actually was a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher growing up. I loved being in the classroom, and every kid wants to write on the chalkboard. And back then, it was the what is that called? Where you write with the VCV markers. They would call you up, and you get to write on there. And that was I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do one day. So
interesting, because you seem when we were talking before this, you were talking about wanting to stay out of the limelight and not really being in front of everyone, hey, I'm here to do this. But I know when I was in school, I was definitely not hey, yeah, I want to be up the chalkboard. I did not want to write on the chalkboard. I was very afraid.
I think it's just the novelty, the fun of getting to go and do something that you don't get to do that often. But you're right. No, I typically shy away from the spotlight. That's for sure. So this is definitely something new for me.
Okay. Now, I know I'm not supposed to get real intent on the chalkboard stuff, but did you ever draw stuff on the chalkboard before class or anything?
Oh, for
Were you
sure.
that kid?
Yeah, and after class. Yeah, if you had the opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever get your work to stay on the board for a little while, or was it a thing where you would draw it and then immediately erase it because it's oh no, I don't want to?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't keep it up there. I'm not that, like I said, I don't care for people to recognize what I'm doing, but I just like to do it.
All right, good. Well, this will be very uncomfortable for you because we'll record it and then everyone will know what you're doing. So
yeah, I've been stressing about this today.
All right. Well, my normal question is how close did you get to getting there to your dream job, and what did you end up doing out of school instead? So I know, spoiler alert, you did actually get to achieve your dream.
Yeah.
Is that the first thing you did when you got out of school or no?
Yeah, it actually was. So I did my student teaching at a school in Mansfield, actually a school that I went to, and just turned out that the teacher I was student teaching with got one of his dream jobs while I was in the classroom with him. So I just got to take over as the full-time teacher and got hired right out of college.
Okay. So did writing on the blackboard live up to what you'd imagined?
Well, a little bit, but now it's like a whiteboard. Who has chalkboards anymore? So, but yes.
Is that the reason you're here with us now? Is if they had kept the blackboards around?
Yeah, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just really wanted a chalkboard. But I did. I really enjoyed teaching for the time that I did it. So I did it for 9 years. I felt like I accomplished a lot in that role, and noticed that time with my family was a little bit more important to me at this stage of my life with my kids. So I decided to look for something a little more flexible.
Okay. So what were you teaching?
I taught 5th grade science all 9 years. got to stay in the same classroom on the same team for all 9 years. So I was blessed with that, and I did enjoy it.
Awesome. So my daughter recently got done with like 5th grade, so I kind of remember some of the stuff a little bit. What's some of the stuff that you're teaching? Like what's like the, I guess, module or whatever that you're like really excited about getting to when you're doing a 5th grade science?
I liked life science just because it was interesting. But the fun thing about 5th grade is it's like, I like to call it a hodgepodge year. Like, some grades in science, it's like all about biology or it's all about chemistry. Within 5th grade, we got to touch on like all the subjects, like matter, space, life science, energy. And so I always liked the life science. I don't know why. Just talking about animals, and I just felt like the kids were more interested in that as well.
Yeah, kids definitely like animals at least.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a favorite animal?
A dolphin.
A dolphin. I feel like that's a little cliche. But,
it really is, but yeah, I don't know. There's just something so cool about a dolphin.
Yeah, it's definitely especially like novel when you're in this Dallas-Fort Worth area. You don't see many dolphins by here.
No, you definitely have to travel to see those, and if you want to swim with, then pay a lot of money. So
yeah, well, that sounds. Yeah, I don't like paying a lot of money for that. Okay, so how did you find Point of Rental? Because you're obviously you're teaching. The first thing that springs to my mind isn't like rental software.
Yeah, no, mine either. So I decided at the end of the school year just to resign and take some time off, and then just kind of was like, I was thinking about jobs where teaching skills would be transferable, and sales, oddly enough, is one of those jobs because as a teacher, you're really a salesperson. You're up there selling the content. And so I started searching kind of in that realm. And LinkedIn, which is a great tool when you're looking for a job. I saw Preston post about the sales rep position.
Mm-hmm.
And so I applied for it and just reached out and, got lucky enough to be hired. So.
Okay, wait, you said you saw Preston. Why did you see Preston post about it?
On LinkedIn? Well, because I went to high school with Preston and Lauren.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was already, following him on LinkedIn. Yeah. So Preston and I actually graduated the same year in the same class of like 39 kids. Really
okay.
Small
yeah.
class.
So this seems like a very interesting type of school where you're exchanging your LinkedIn profiles. Like back when I was in school, we didn't have those really yet. We had like MySpace, I think.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn profiles, that's a very professional sounding school.
Yes. No, I didn't create my LinkedIn. I was late to the game in the professional world because as a teacher, LinkedIn really isn't a thing.
Yeah.
But in the business world, it definitely is. So I just started adding people. And unfortunately, when you go to a school of 39 people, like in high school, it's a real small group to fish within. And then obviously your college and all of the people that I connected with teaching. But yeah, I got lucky enough to see Preston's post. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty convenient. Yeah, I was going to ask you. So you've already kind of mentioned it. How completely does that teaching skill set translate into sales? Like, how do you use that those skills every day?
Yeah. So as a teacher, you have to be a good communicator, and I feel like in sales, that's a really important, skill set to have in any job. Communication is important. But that's something that has really helped me in this role. And then just like I said, you are a salesperson. You have to get up there in front of the kids, and not everyone loves school. You have to get them to buy into what you're talking about. So it's really selling the content to them.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it can be on call. Sometimes you have to position it in a way that makes the other person interested in what you're talking about. So I feel like they are. Doesn't sound super relatable when you think of teaching and sales, but they really do overlap.
Yeah. So who's easier to sell to? People in the rental industry or children?
Well, it depends on the day, but children, if you give them a fun experiment, luckily I was a science teacher, so we got to do labs and stuff all the time.
That's true.
So they were pretty easy to sell to at times, but just depends on who if you get the right person on the phone in this job. So.
Okay. Well, before we leave teaching entirely, what was your favorite lab?
Ooh.
Because I feel like there's like the typical standard ones, the ones that like I always see in pop culture. It's like everyone has a volcano experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do this, but there used to be, the dissections of things, but it doesn't seem like that's
Yeah,
a thing
luckily
anymore.
in 5th grade, we don't touch on that. There was a bubble lab that we would do, and the kids would blow bubbles on the table, the science table, and then they'd have to measure it and see who could blow the biggest bubble. We taught the scientific method using that, and that was always a fun one. So that's the one that sticks out to me right at this moment.
Okay, well, let me know if we can do the bubble experiment here. We have a pretty big table because that one sounds fun, and we didn't do that when I was in school. So
we have everything. You just need straws, bubbles, or dish soap and water. So
okay, well,
we can definitely do that.
We'll do a little video sometime. I don't know how we're going to relate it to rental software, but we'll find a way.
Yeah, we can think about that.
Okay, let's see. So what's the most challenging part about being an SDR?
The most challenging part is every phone call's different. Like you can prepare, have the things that you need to cover on a call, but every call goes a different way because the prospect is the one driving that call. So it's just the unknown and being able to pivot like on your feet. And, with inbound, it's a little bit easier because those are people coming to us and they're more interested.
They've at least asked to be called.
Yes, exactly. So that makes it a little bit easier, but still every call can be different.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that you have, answers. You've prepared more than any other guest that I've had.
Yes.
Normally, I'm the nervous one who doesn't even remember my own questions, and it's like, all right, I have my little list, so I don't have to know anything. And yeah.
Yeah, I am definitely a planner. I like to plan and be prepped. So that's been hard with not knowing which way like calls may go and having to pivot. And like with teaching, you can plan out your day. And it's pretty easy, but yeah, this is a little more unknown sometimes, but yeah.
So how have you, is there a way that you've kind of learned to do that better and be able to flow with, whatever the prospect has to say?
I think practice, like I've been doing it for so long now that I'm comfortable. I don't ever stress about picking up the phone just because it's a conversation. That's what you have to tell yourself. Like right now, this is a conversation. Maybe I was nervous about this, but that's all it is. And so like, even if I don't know which way the conversation might go, that's what I just tell myself. I'm just talking to someone, getting to learn about them. They drive the conversation, but after doing it long enough, you get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and the convenient part about this one is like if it went really terrible, we would just delete it and no one would ever find out.
Yeah, that would be great.
It happened. No. But then we wouldn't have content for later in this month. I need that content.
Yes.
All right.
We will get you that content.
Good. All right. What is your favorite part about your current role?
So my current role right now, I'm actually training one of our SDRs to do inbound as well with me. Luckily, we've had a lot of traffic and we need some more help on that side. And I've actually really enjoyed getting to do that because it brings me back to my teaching days, getting to teach and share my knowledge. So that's right now has been like what I've enjoyed the most. That's been fun.
I was going to say, all right, you're teaching again.
I am.
I see a recurring theme here.
Yes.
All right. Is there a point where you get to feel like you're really doing a good job of teaching when you're within that sales process, or does that happen like later in the funnel?
Well, I think it's just luckily we get to listen to each other's calls and you get to see, oh yeah, they've listened to that. Like they're doing what I said or, things like that. They picked up on that. So that's been fun as well to like actually see the fruits of your labor and like see someone else doing it. And we have a good team. Like everyone on our team is willing to help each other out. We all kind of teach each other. So
good. I just realized that, SDRs and AEs sometimes have account executives, sometimes have like handoffs. Do you have a favorite AE to work with?
Oh, a favorite AE to work with. Ooh, that's a good question.
I like to try to get people in trouble around here.
Yeah, no, I really like them all in their own way. Like they're all super friendly, which being a salesperson, I feel like that's just part of the job. You have to be like really friendly.
I would hope
but
so.
I enjoy like hopping on calls with all of them and having, before the prospect gets on, just having those conversations, getting to know one another. So really, I couldn't pick a favorite. I like them all.
Okay. I was going to pick Mark as your favorite for you just because he was also a teacher. So I thought you would be, teacher pals.
I didn't know he was a teacher. I knew his past experience was in like the event rental world. We're going to talk about this.
Yeah, before that. Or I know he at least went to school to get a teaching degree.
I'm going to ask
I think he did some teaching. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. Well, now let's get into your non-professional. Well, before we get into your non-professional life, we got to play a game first. Okay. And that's going to be McFarland or McFarlout. And if you agree with a statement or it's true, say McFarland.
Okay.
And if you disagree, say McFarlout.
Okay.
You understand the rules, right?
Yes.
I know it's a really complex game.
So complex.
So McFarland or McFarlout, you've cheated at a board game.
McFarlout. Now maybe as a kid it would have been McFarland.
Yeah.
But I'm not competitive enough to cheat at a board game. And especially as a parent, like you learn that you let your kid win. So really there's no point in cheating. So
I don't know if you're letting your kid win, is that cheating on your kid's behalf?
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky way to look at it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so maybe
I'll
have to
not
change
sure.
my answer.
now this graphic is going to look really weird when Andrew tries to put it in there.
That'll be fun for him.
Yeah. If you could find out how you were going to die, you'd want to know.
Ooh, I have some questions about that.
No, I'm not threatening you, just so you know.
McFarland. What if it's something avoidable?
It's fair. And that throws into the whole question into a bit of confusion, because like if you know and you can avoid it, then it's wrong. And then does it like update you?
Yeah, because
It sounds like the worst.
I don't know. That one's a hard one. Yeah, because if I could avoid it, then yes. If I can't avoid it, then probably no. I don't want to know.
Okay. McFarland or McFarlout, you've told an outrageous lie to a child.
McFarland. That's parenting 101. We all lie to our children, right?
All right. What's the best lie that you've
So most
that they've discovered the truth about since then?
Gosh.
We don't want to accidentally have one of your kids stumble across this and be like, "What?"
Yeah, that is so true. I don't know. That's a good one. The funniest one recently was my son and niece were in the car honking the car horn and they wouldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so we told them that the police were going to come if they didn't stop. My niece immediately burst into tears and my son is like, "Prove it." Like he's literally said, "Prove it." And so I was like, that just shows the difference in their personalities. Like my son's going to be the one that gets in trouble in high school and my niece is going to be the goody two shoes who is like so worried about getting in trouble.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think my daughter's much more likely to be the one crying. And it's like, I'm glad that you're going to be a rule follower, but oh gosh. Calm down a bit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right, McFarland or McFarlout, you prefer working from home to working at the office?
McFarland. That was one of the things that appealed to me about this job, is having the flexibility to be able to work from home, especially with teaching.
Yeah.
You don't get that flexibility. And when you have little kids, they get sick all the time.
Yep.
And being able to work from home and have them homesick with you versus having to take a day off, with teaching. So, yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. And also you don't ever get like roped into surprise interviews on camera at home as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you roped me into this one.
Okay. McFarland or McFarlout, you have an embarrassing nickname, or at least a nickname that you hate.
McFarlout. Yeah, I really don't. My full name's Catherine, and I go by Katie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already a nickname in itself. But other than that, no, I don't have any other nicknames.
So McFarlout being your nickname, you're not gonna. Well, that's a terrible nickname anyway. So that's fine.
My son lately has been saying McFarland for our last name. And I was like, you're giving ammunition to all your classmates to make fun of you. But luckily, I didn't come into this name until I got married, so I didn't have it in my childhood.
That's fair.
But yeah, so luckily that one can't be used against me.
But I feel like he's taking ownership of it. And if he created it, then he's not going to be upset by it. So that's also a good way to get around it.
That is true. Good point.
All right. Well, thank you for playing McFarland or McFarlout.
It was fun. Thank you.
Joke of the day. What is blue and smells like red paint? Blue paint.
All right. So we were talking before we came into this little recording booth, and you mentioned that you played sports in junior high and high school. I as well kind of peaked out there at high school and never went beyond there. What sports were you playing?
So I did track in middle school and a little bit of basketball and cheerleading in high school.
Okay.
None of which were my thing.
Are those things that like your parents made you do? Because I had to either like do an activity after school or I had to volunteer somewhere.
Yeah, so really it wasn't my parents. It was actually my coaches at school. When you have only 39 kids in your graduating class, they are recruiting everyone for everything to fill the spaces on the teams. So one year in track, I did hurdles, and I am 5'2", and so that did not go well, but I did it. But yeah, so it's all about the size of the school. I did it for the team. You know?
I was gonna say you need a certain number of people to participate. What did they have, like limbo hurdles? Because that would be cool.
I wish I could have done that. I would have been way better at that than jumping over them.
What is that the only event that you did in track, or were there others?
I did the 4x4, and I didn't do any of the sprinting ones. I'm not fast enough for that.
Okay, I was hoping you were throwing things like
Oh yeah, no, I never did that either.
No? All right, well,
Definitely not the high jump either.
maybe we can try a practice event out here on the fields that are kind of around Point of Rental headquarters, and we can do a track event.
Yeah,
someday.
track event.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Bring me back to my middle school days.
Okay. You also mentioned that you did do cheerleading, and apparently your mom said you were not great at this.
She called me the most cheerleaders. I wasn't very. I don't like being up in front of people, and she was like, just told me I was not enthusiastic enough. So I did that 1 year.
Okay. So was it a case of like you just kind of, were you at least going through the motions, but like not very well, or was it?
Yeah. She always just said it would be like, go team, go. Like I would never be like super into it. And she was like, everyone else around you, they were cheerleaders.
Yeah.
But no, I was an anti-cheerleader.
Well, your anti-cheerleading works here because like if you were actually yelling, then it would ruin the mic levels. And
so that's perfect.
Thank you for not being a great cheerleader.
I appreciate that.
Okay. I also hear that you like reading, or in your case, not reading.
Yes. If I had the time to like just sit down and read a book, that'd be great. But when you have kids, it kind of limits your free time. So I like to listen to audiobooks. So while I'm doing chores around the house and, doing laundry or washing the dishes, I listen to audiobooks.
Okay. Like what kind of audiobooks?
Usually whatever my mom has downloaded on her Audible account. I like murder mystery type books, some romance novels here and there. But yeah, I like a good mystery.
Okay, so listening to a murder mystery book seems like it would be semi-stressful because, you have interruptions throughout your time.
This is true.
Do you ever like get in trouble with your kids and be like, no, I need to
I need to finish this?
Yeah.
I wish I had the luxury of doing that, but I usually listen to it like in bed at night too. So that's when I get the most. And it's like when I'm relaxed, which is funny, listening to a murder mystery while you're trying to relax and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah. That's one of those things that I didn't realize until I became a parent, is like, oh, that's why bedtimes exist.
Yes.
It's so that parents have some time.
For sure. Yes. You go to bed at 8 p.m. So I can have at least an hour or two.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, it's supposedly there's this research out there that says like, yeah, kids need a certain amount of sleep. It's like, I feel like all of this research is actually talking to parents, and they're like, just say that they need to go.
Yes. It's like one of those lies you tell your kids.
Mm-hmm. All right. But also to your kids and to my daughter out there, none of that was.
Oh yeah, that's not true. That is scientifically proven.
Yeah. You need it to develop. Let's see. And the other thing that you said you do is you sadly shop.
Yeah. I love shopping, but you have to spend money to shop.
It's true. That is my least favorite part of shopping.
Yeah. And so I like to shop online, and, if I go to the same page like 5 times, like over a month period, I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy it. Like that's worth my money, but I try not to be an impulse shopper.
Okay. So you approach it like, whenever I was looking at tattoos, I was always told, hey, you find the design and then you come back to it in several months. And then if you still like it, then okay,
yeah.
maybe.
Oh, yeah, especially a tattoo. That's definitely not, you don't want to make an impulse decision about that. You can't return that, or not easily at least.
Yeah. I've seen the procedures on like social media, and it seems very
that looks
unpleasant.
painful. Yeah.
Okay, but so what are the things that you're generally shopping but also not shopping for?
Shoes. I like shoes a lot. Clothes in general.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, those are my 2 main interests.
All right.
Nothing super fun. Oh, and apparently everyone around here would say my cups. I always I take pride in my cups. I have a really
Do you
good
have
coffee
like a cup collection, or?
Yes. And, unfortunately my husband is like, another cup, like you really bought another cup. But they all serve their own purpose, Like I've got a water cup, I've got a coffee cup, I've got a good wine cup,
And you would never mix up any of the cups, right?
No, you should.
This is your wine cup, right?
Yeah, this is my wine cup. Yes.
Okay.
Has to be 30 ounces.
All right. What's something that people misunderstand about you?
So I was looking at that question, and really, I feel like I'm a pretty transparent person. So I don't feel like there is much misunderstood. Maybe in high school it was that I could do sports, but I mean now I can't think of many things.
Okay, there's no one that's ever come up to you after a little bit of knowing you that said wow, when we first met I thought you were a certain way, but as I've gotten to know you, it's no, actually, yeah.
Mindy told me she thought I was way younger whenever she started working here. And then I was like, well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But, yeah, but other than that, I mean.
So you didn't take offense to that just for the sake of taking offense to it?
Well, I guess if she thought I looked younger, that's a compliment, right? So,
sometimes.
Well, yeah. If it's looking younger versus acting younger. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me? You get exactly one. I get to ask you lots, but you get
one. So I'm interested in what you do outside of work. What's your favorite thing to do?
I also have a kid, so I don't, not that I had a life before, but
yeah.
I usually, do a little run after work to get some exercise in. I used to play a bit more sports at that mediocre, I can be an okay person subbing in on a pickup court. But yeah, otherwise it's mostly reading, listening to podcasts, just hanging out with family and fixing up things that are broken at the house or lawn care or whatnot.
Yeah. You sound like my husband.
Yeah, nothing super excited. All right, so before we go to the 5 important questions,
okay,
I need you to give me a top 5 list in a segment we'll call Give Me 5. So I've been asking people these top 5 lists, but I've never named it. So you get to be the first one doing Give Me 5.
I like it.
Now it seems like not everyone knows the rules of good top 5 list, so I want to make sure that you do. We start at number 5 and we count up to number 1, because if you tell people the number 1, no one cares about the rest of your list.
Yeah.
So again, normally people get to pick their own list, but since you are an SDR and we're always selling out here,
true,
and we have this promo going on called Point of Rental Guide, I want you to tell me your top 5 reasons that a rental store leader would want to become Point of Rental's guide.
Okay. I prep for things, so I've got my list ready to go.
Good.
So,
number 5.
Number 5, I would say, is we all love to share our opinions. As a consumer, if we go to a restaurant and we have feedback to share, we're going to ask for the manager. In this contest, that's what we're asking people to do, is give us feedback. So you get to share your opinion.
But hopefully it's let me ask for the manager in a good way this time.
Well, yes, of course, for sure. But that's what we're asking for. We want feedback.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4, you get to help the industry. Your feedback is going to help us, improve on our side. And then that also helps all of our customers out there. So you're helping out the rental industry.
Okay, people do like to help. They seem to care a lot about the industry when I talk to people in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 3.
Number 3 is the opportunity to solve challenges that you're facing as a rental store. We have a great software, and it's going to help you solve some of your challenges. So who wouldn't love the opportunity to do that?
I do like things that solve my problems.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, it's free. Who doesn't love free stuff? You get software free for a year. So that is a pretty cool thing in itself.
Yeah,
and
you wish your clothes were free.
Oh, man, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. I could save a lot of money that way. That leads into...
Okay, number 1.
Number 1 is you get free implementation. So even if you sign on with us after a year, yes, you do have to pay for the software, but you never have to pay for the implementation, which is pretty awesome.
Good. Yeah, again, free things are good.
Yeah,
so
free things are awesome.
All right. So if those reasons sold you on becoming Point of Rental's guide, go to visit pointofrental.com/guide before November 15th, because that's like the cutoff. We don't want to run this thing forever. And when you do that, you'll probably talk to Katie at some point in the process, and we'll find out if you are the right fit for Point of Rental's guide.
5 important questions.
5 important questions?
5 important questions.
Okay, now we're ready for the 5 important questions. I'm sorry I wasted your time with all those other ones because these are the important ones. What would you say is your greatest success in life?
My kids. I know that's very cliche.
It is.
And so I acknowledge that.
Okay.
But yeah, they are my greatest success.
Okay, but at least you still like them, so that's good.
Yes.
You have to worry about when it's like, they're not that great.
Yeah. When they get into those teen years and you just,
Then
Wish
you'll
you
have
could
some
go
other
back.
things that you want to mention. Okay, what is your greatest fear?
snakes. And I'm afraid that I've just recorded that on camera because I've heard Lauren might use that against me.
Yes, that was the original reason that we added this to the list.
So
It's
she
just
could
to help
find
Lauren
out. Oh, yeah. Oh, please, no.
But I think snakes are a common enough one that everyone is not great with snakes.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No.
And I don't think that she's going to be allowed to just like let a bunch of snakes loose in the office. I don't think
I
that'll go
really
over.
hope not.
That's a good way to make sure everyone works from home. I think.
Yes, that is for sure. I wouldn't. I don't think I could come back.
Is it like all size snakes, or is it just like the bigger ones?
I mean, garden snakes, like
'Cause, like,
I'm
some of them,
okay.
they're
That's like
kinda cute.
that's like a giant worm. Like, but yeah, anything more than that, even like a rat snake. I know they're not dangerous. I know everyone says they're good, but I can't tell enough to know that it's a rat snake at that moment. It's just a snake, so yeah.
Yeah, you're not waiting for it to like bite you to find out if
Yeah,
it's okay.
no, not at all.
It seems like a good policy. If you could tell first day at work Katie, or first day at point of rental Katie, really, one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
Just relax. For me especially, it was really nerve-wracking because I was completely changing careers. Like, it wasn't like I was going from one sales position to another one at a different company. This was totally new. So I just would have told myself to relax, that it was going to be okay.
Were you just like, oh no, these are adults?
Yeah, these are, yes. And just, learning something new is nerve-wracking. So, no.
All right, well, good job on learning something new at least.
Thanks.
What is your most that segues so badly into the next one. What's your most embarrassing moment as a pointer?
So I thought about this, and luckily I cannot think of one yet. So
Okay.
I'm not ready for that day to come. I hope it doesn't.
And you're even in a position where you like actually record your calls and like you can actually relive your mistakes.
Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe then I probably could find a pretty embarrassing call.
Yeah.
But yeah, luckily nothing sticks out in my mind where I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes, that's my most embarrassing moment.
Okay, well, that ruins the next one. So let's just continue along, ruining the segues into every single one of these.
I'm good at that.
Well, you have been sentenced to death because the not remembering your most embarrassing moment is now a capital offense. So what is your last meal and why?
Probably sushi, because that's not something I'm ever going to cook at home. Like, it's not easy.
I thought you're not allowed to cook it.
Well, yes, I should say prep. Like, make a sushi roll at home.
Okay.
So I always go out to eat that, and I like crave it at least once a week. Like, I'm actually going to get sushi tonight because I haven't had it in at least 2 weeks.
To reward yourself for putting up with this and like going on video and being front and center, you're like, look,
Yep.
I'm gonna need some.
I
some
had
reward
to
for
look
this.
forward to something. Yeah,
Understandable. Okay, are you having anything with your sushi?
wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any dessert or no?
No,
You're not a dessert person?
the sushi places don't usually have the best dessert. At least not the type of dessert that I like.
You're not. This is a last meal situation. They're bringing everything to you.
Oh,
You're
okay.
not like going out to a restaurant or anything.
Yeah. Okay, then it would be probably like chocolate cake and ice cream or something like that.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit in with the aesthetic of a sushi.
Yeah, they're
restaurant,
not
I don't think.
gonna, they're not gonna have that.
Okay. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Ooh. I guess my shyness sometimes. Yeah, it'd be nice. I would love to be a little more outgoing and not be so nervous in those types of situations.
It does feel like the people that are not shy have so many opportunities open up for them. And it's like, I wish that was easy.
Yeah, exactly.
If you could change one thing at point of rental, what would it be?
Ooh. One thing at point of rental, what would it be?
Just to clarify, this is like a snap situation, not a like, I would like to start the process of building like a whole thing. It's like if you could make one thing happen with the snap, what would it be?
Oh goodness. It'd be cool if the SDRs had their own office. We're always talking over each other. It's never going to happen. That's the point of being an SDR, is working in a cubicle and having that type of environment. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the only thing I noticed over in SDR land.
All right. At least get Katie her own office.
Yes. Oh yeah, that would be nice. I'd love my own office.
Okay. What is your spirit spice?
My spirit spice. Probably sugar. I'm sweet,
Oh, I like that one.
you know?
Okay, that one's a nice one. All right, well, thank you, Katie, for chatting today. And to anyone that made it to this point with us, thanks for joining us, and we'll leave the porch light burning for you.
Thank you.